The table is set. We're just waiting for the guests to arrive for our Christmas dinner. Good morning, everybody, and Happy New Year. This is Stephen for Bland Designs, and this is my weekly vlog. This is number 100. So we've hit a milestone. I can't believe I've done 100 vlogs. So that's just about 2 years, 1 3/4 years of doing vlogs. So anyways, party, yay, should have had confetti coming down from the ceiling. And it is December the 31st, 2018, the last day of the year, Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve tonight. And we're actually going out to a thing at a local club. We haven't gone out for New Year's in a long time, at least not since we were in Australia back 2 years ago when we did the Sydney Opera House for New Year's Eve. But generally speaking, the last decade, we've been staying home for New Year's Eve because, you know, everybody's out, it's expensive, you drink too much, all that kind of stuff. So anyways, we are going out tonight, and we'll try to keep it contained as well. Not as young as I used to be. So anyways, I hope you will have a really great New Year's Eve as well, and I hope you had a great Christmas. Our Christmas was fairly uneventful in the sense that we had family here for dinner, and that was quite nice. It's first Christmas dinner that we didn't have my mother at it because we can't really take her from the nursing home because she can't walk. So negotiating my house with its stairs is not easy. Plus there's the whole question of, you know, bathroom facilities. She needs to be assisted with that as well. So anyways, we didn't have to worry about her, which was kind of a nice, I know it sounds kind of negative, but it was kind of nice not have to worry about, you know, my mother and getting her here and looking after her and the whole, everything like that. Doesn't mean we abandoned her at Christmas time. We certainly did not. We went to the Christmas event they had at the nursing home, and I already mentioned that back in one of the past vlogs. And we also went over on Christmas Eve day in the afternoon to visit with her for a while, and I'd gotten her a couple little gifts and things like that. And they have lots of activities going on too at the nursing home during the Christmas season and New Year's, so she will not be without things to do if she so desires to do them. So what have I been working on? Well, you can see behind me another quilt. Yeah, go figure. Now this one's not done yet. I just got it layered yesterday. I now need to quilt it and get the binding on it to finish it up. So I'm going to start the quilting probably today, and I think I will attempt my hand at ruler foot quilting on this particular one. I have done a little of that before, but this one I'm going to do much more in detail. How this quilt started out, and I'll just lean over this way a little bit so you can see it. Started out that I wanted to learn how to make these flying geese right here, these little thingies, you know, with the triangles. I want to learn how to make those. Now I know how to do flying geese. They're pretty much a traditional block in scrapbooking, in quilting, and I saw a different way of doing them, so I thought I'd give it a try. So I made a couple flying geese and started sewing them together, and it started to grow from there. Now at first I thought, well, yeah, this is kind of neat. It would make a nice little set of placemats, but I really didn't feel like making, you know, 4 placemats. So instead, I thought, well, maybe a table runner. So I started working on it this way across and kept adding things to it, and well, eventually it became a quilt. Now it's not a huge quilt, it's a throw, a good size throw, and that's okay. It's also all made, as I said, out of scraps, stuff I had laying around. So I feel a little bit, you know, more daring on this one to give to start doing some quilting that I'm not comfortable with as practice on this piece. because I don't think it's really going to show up all that much if I make mistakes, when I make mistakes, and because it's so busy to start with. But I kind of like it. It's in rustic sort of colors, and I designed it myself. And I did have a little problem with it at one point when I got the two big panels together. They were not lined up properly, so I had to rip out a few things, readjust, trim down, but I made it fit. So it's not perfect, but it's not bad. And speaking of that, another little cute thing I did with my embroidery machine is I made this little chicken pincushion. He's kind of cute. Now, you might wonder why I did this. Well, I did it because I wanted to learn how to do this kind of thing. And I saw this pattern on one of the embroidery sites that I go to a lot, and I thought I'll give it a try. Now, what I didn't realize was that I had to do some hand sewing on this. I had to hand sew the wings on, and I had to hand sew the bottom closure here as well. Actually, that wasn't that difficult. I just don't enjoy hand sewing to start with, but this wasn't too bad, and he sits up here and he's a little pincushion. So I thought he was kind of cute, kind of fun. Okay. Anything else? Nope, I guess that's about all I've been working on, because of course with Christmas and that, things are busy. Yeah, so now we're starting to turn our minds towards our trips that are coming up very soon. And I came across a YouTube channel. Actually, I knew about this YouTube channel before, but there wasn't that much on it. But I revisited it the other day, and it's called Travel by Numbers. And this is by a friend of mine who, well, more of an acquaintance, really. But anyways, well, take a look. This week's YouTube channel is called Travel by Numbers, and yes, just as the name suggests, it is a travel show. But what makes this a little bit unique for me is that this is done by a friend of mine who lives in my area, and he gives a very high quality cinematographic representation of some of the places he's been in the last year or two. Although his viewership is not very high on many of his videos, they are very informative and have a high professional quality. So if you're interested in some places in the United States, down in the Caribbean area, or even right here in my area, then you might want to check out Travel by Numbers. So as usual, the link to Travel by Numbers is in the show notes below, as is the link to Stephen and Walter this week. And yay, this week, Stephen and Walter did not freeze. And we got a little carried away on this one too. It's a little longer than what we usually put up, but that's just the way the discussion went, and you never know how things are going to turn. But I was really thrilled that it didn't freeze up. Of course, we had a couple of hilarious mishaps where my iPad, which we video record on for Stephen Walter Live, kind of took a plunge off the end of the counter twice. Didn't hurt it, but it might make you a little dizzy when that happens. It's kind of funny though too. Okay, also I have this week's book down in the show notes as well, so we'll talk about that in a few minutes. So that takes us to It's Pissing Me Off this week. Okay, I think it was Jody, a Miss Purple Potato. She sent me a link to a website that basically cuts up YouTubers. The reason she sent this to me was because there is one YouTube which I have reviewed on here by a man named Christopher Allen. It's kind of a lifestyle type of YouTube. I have my criticisms of it, but I'm not going to bother saying what they are because to each his own. I do follow it. It's kind of interesting. However, there's a lot of people that also follow it and take great pleasure in cutting him up and his partner and what they do and the whole bit. Now, I have to admit that some of the comments that they make on that website are a reflection of how I feel too. But this is what I'm pissed off at. People who take the internet and decide that's going to be their sounding board to cut up and criticize other people out there, especially other YouTubers. You know, putting up a YouTube video on a regular basis, putting a little thought and time into it, that takes, you know, a lot of effort on the part of the maker of that. I know. I know how much time it takes me to make one of these, and I do not do any editing, as you know. Maybe I should, but I don't. I just haven't got the time or want to put the time into making up, you know, an Academy Award production on YouTube. But other people do. It's their hobby. It's the thing they're really into, and they spend a great deal of time, you know, trying to make a professional quality product. To have a group of people start to cut your YouTube channel up, and usually this is probably done by people who don't even make YouTube channels as well, that's just harsh and not called for. Yes, not all YouTube channels are going to be to everybody's liking. And yes, when you put yourself out there and you're making something, you're leaving a door open for criticism. You have to understand that as a YouTube maker. And I think most YouTube makers have probably very thick skins, because I know, even for me, I've had some nasty comments before as well. People seem to think that because there is a screen between us, that the chances of ever meeting each other, and the fact that a lot of these people on there don't even use their real name, they have a nickname or something, they feel that that gives them protection, and they can just say whatever they want to say. Well, this is the modern age, and yes, we do a lot of electronic communication back and forth. I mean, look at things like Facebook, and Facebook has come under criticism too as well when people start to criticize other people on there, to the point where Facebook has shut some people down because they equate what they're saying to the level of a hate crime. YouTube will do the same thing. There is a code of conduct on YouTube for makers, and it also applies to people who watch YouTube videos. There's two types of criticism in the world. You know, there's negative criticism that's meant to hurt, and then there's constructive criticism. Constructive criticism is the kind of thing that says, you know, I like this and I like that about it. I was just thinking that maybe you could also do this. Or, you know, I found this a little difficult, just thought I'd let you know. I take constructive criticism well, because I'm trying to make things, I want to make the experience for the people who subscribe to me enjoyable. And if they've got a suggestion on how to do that, then I'm all ears for it. And many times people have given me some really good constructive criticism, and I have taken it seriously, and I have made some changes to things. So, you know, that's okay, constructive criticism. But this website that I'm mentioning, and I'm not even going to give you the link to it, because really, it's just a bunch of crabby, bitchy people hitting on other people out there for whatever reason. I guess it gives them a form of entertainment, you know, gets their jollies going, whatever. And I think that's just nasty and cruel. So anyways, that's what's pissing me off this week. You know, that essentially there are things out there in the world without any control on the internet that are hateful, that are meant to hurt people. And YouTube, although I said earlier that YouTube makers usually have a thick skin, we're still people, and we still have feelings. Okay, moving on. New product. I got this. You might wonder what this is. This is by Fiskars. So it's a sharpener for scissors. And it works really well. You take your scissors, and you see those two holes there, and you just put them in here, and you just sort of make a cutting motion. And there's a couple of little sharpening stones in there. Now, this is a little awkward to show you this because this would be sitting down on a flat surface when you're doing this, so you can get a better grip on it. But it seems to work very well. Why did I buy this? Well, I bought it mainly for my sewing scissors, things like that. Now, is it cheap? It's not bad. I got it at Michael's. I think it was $24.99 or something like that. But I had a 50% off coupon, and that's why I bought it with the 50% off coupon. Anyways, so far I'm very pleased with it. And with the 50% off coupon, I got it with tax for under 15 bucks. So that in itself, I think that's a more reasonable price for something like this. I mean, basically, it's a light piece of plastic. It's hollow inside, and it's got these two little stones or whatever for sharpening. And that's it. It's a pretty simple little device. I got the hiccup suddenly. Sorry. But it works well. So that's the product of the week. And that takes us to my book review. Now, this huge, heavy thing. I don't know when I got this or where I got this, or quite frankly, why I bought it. Well, I guess because it's all about different types of crafts. And it's sort of an encyclopedia of different crafts you can do, detailed instructions, nice illustrations, and it's got, you know, a lot in it. In fact, just to let you know, if I look here at the table of contents, paper crafts and paper mache, stenciling, stamping and printing, embroidery, applique, patchwork and cross stitch. Ooh, I didn't know that was in there. I should take a look at those two. Modeling and salt dough, wood, wire, tin work, decorating glass and ceramics, and some templates and things. So, it's a nice general overall book. It might be good for inspiration. It is called The Ultimate Crafts Companion. And it is by, well, there's not really one author because it's sort of a compilation, but it's by Hermes House. That's the publishing company for this. There's what it looks like again. And if you're interested in getting it, I have no idea how much I paid for it originally. And there is no price on this. Just look inside. Nope, no price. So I have no idea what I spent on this. But this is a big, thick book. It's heavy. So, and it's hardcover, so you know that it's probably expensive. However, if you go on Amazon.ca, you can get it brand new for $14.03. So that's not bad for a book of this nature. I think that's very reasonable. Not sure what they'll charge you for shipping, but if you want a general guide, something that might inspire you, then that might be the book for you. Okay, that takes us to inspiration for this week. Nothing. Sorry, I haven't got a thing. Yeah, it's just the way it's been. And what's in my drawers? Nothing. Again, I couldn't think of anything. So as I said, I think last week, I may drop those two segments, or at least the one about what's in my drawers, and see if there's something else I can talk about. And actually, if there's some suggestions that any of you might have that I could fill in that spot, something different, something that would be of interest to you, let me know, and I'll see if I can do something like that, because I want to keep you interested. Events in the past week. Okay. Well, I got back my points from PC Financial. You remember someone had taken off with 290,000 of my points just before Christmas, and that was the points translates into $290 of groceries I could have gotten with that, and I was going to use that for Christmas dinner. Well, no, they were gone. And I've been sending emails to the company with no response from them whatsoever. So I figured, okay, after Christmas, after New Year's, then I'm going to seriously start making some phone calls and basically being a real bitch about it. Well, lo and behold, last Friday, I checked my account. My points came back. Yep, they came back. But there was no explanation. I was not notified that I had these points reinstated. Nothing from the company. It was just, that's it, there they are. So anyways, it was too late to use them for Christmas, but now I'm a little bit paranoid that I might lose them again. So I think now I'm up to $310 worth of groceries. So I think from now, for the next few weeks when I buy groceries, I'm going to use my points and use them up again because I don't want to lose them a second time. So anyways, that was good news in the week. We had a couple of guys that were in my embroidery class that live in Toronto. They came out, Ultimate Sewing had a big 3-day sale, last week. It was their Boxing Day week sale, whatever you want to call it. And they were coming out to, you know, get in on the bargains. So I made plans with them for them to come to our place for lunch. You know, it's always nice to make new friends. And so they did. Actually, we went over to Ultimate Sewing, saw them over there. We were all spending a lot when we were there, keeping that store open, I can tell you. Anyways, they came here after they were finished there for lunch, and lunch ran right into about, well, the whole afternoon. It was very pleasant. We had a really nice visit with them, got to know them a lot better, and we want to continue this. So hopefully we have started a friendship that will last a long time. You may have seen Luch on Stephen and Walter Live, because he does pop in on occasion. And yeah, his name is spelled L-U-C. It's a shortened form for, I think, and Luch may kill me for this, but I think you say his name Luciano. I think that's how his full name goes, but he just goes by Luch. So say hi to him if you see him and Lionel on Stephen and Walter Live sometime. So that was kind of pleasant. Now, here's what's not pleasant about last week. Okay. Put it in a nutshell, I lost it with my mother. And right now I'm still upset about it. And I'm upset with myself for doing this, but I'm also upset with her. And I'm really not sure how to handle the situation. You know, I've told you enough about my mother. You know all the things that are going on. So I gave her a call last Thursday night. And see how she was and everything like that. And I usually start the conversation with, so what's new? Well, this is when she just let in. She goes, oh, I've had a terrible week. I haven't been able to sleep any night this week in the whole bed. And I said, why? Are you not feeling well? No, it's Doris. Doris is her roommate. Doris is 97 years old and has dementia. Okay? Sweet old lady, but she has dementia. And especially when they're trying to get her into bed at night, I guess she just goes haywire. And she'll be up. She sleeps a lot during the day too, you know, because she has dementia. And my mother's going on, I can't get a wink of sleep. And I could hear Doris in the background, and it was pretty bad. And I said to Mom, well, have you spoken to the nurses about this? Well, they can't. They don't do anything. Okay, so there's this negativism coming out of my mother. And I said, well, Mom, like, they're always trying to put Doris, she says, into bed at 7:30 at night. And I said, well, Mom, if they do that every night at the same time, and you know Doris is going to be, you know, upset in the whole bed, why don't you just leave the room? She's not in bed at that time, I don't think, and she's in her wheelchair. Just wheel yourself out into the hall, go down to one of the lounges, watch some TV down there for half an hour, something like that, until Doris settles down. Then you can sneak back into the room, and I said, and, you know, get some sleep. Well, no, that will never work, and I don't want to. Oh, it just went on, and I'm getting a little bit uglier about it because she's hitting my triggers, right? And I realize that's what she's doing, but I can't stop myself, okay? I don't know if you've ever been in that situation where, you know, you're almost standing like outside of your own body and you know what's going on, but you just can't seem to get a grip and control the situation. Well, that was the way I felt the other night. Then I suggested to her, well, Mom, do you want me to get you some earplugs? Well, those are what either, and blah, 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 and all this. And it was like it was all my fault that I hadn't done anything about this, and it was on. And I said, well, look, I'll give a call. I said, after I'm finished talking to you here on the phone, I'll call to the front desk down there. I'll call to the nurse's station and just, you know, I'll mention, well, I don't want you doing that because they just won't do anything about it. You see, my mother's very much concerned about her reputation. She doesn't have any problem bitching at me and the whole bit. But when it comes to the people that are there, the staff, whatever, she won't say two words about them. And they think she's absolutely sweet and nice. They've never lived with her. Okay, that's all I can say. And it just went on from there, and I blew up. I lost it. I lost it completely. And I'll save you the dirty details of things I said. And I hung up on her. And that was last Thursday. This is Monday. I have not seen her. I have not talked to her. And guess what? And this, you may think I'm being a real a-hole about this. I am not going to call her or go and see her until she picks up the phone and calls me. And she's very capable of it because she's done it before. It's right there. Her phone is handy. But when she does, I'm going to lay the cards on the table that I'm burned out. I've had it, and I have done the best I possibly can. But you see, a lot of this stuff stems from my whole life with my mother and my parents. I could never do anything right for them, ever. I was constantly criticized. I was constantly told that basically I was no good. My brother and sister, on the other hand, were golden children. My brother especially, as you know, I've mentioned it before, and my sister, well, she was the only girl, she was the baby, and she got away with murder. Simple as that. Meanwhile, you know, I don't want to sound like I'm self-pitying, but I am self-pitying. I got diddly squat out of it most of the time. Yeah, sure, they raised me, they fed me, they feed me, you know, fed me, clothed me, did all the stuff they're supposed to do. But emotionally, and I am an emotional person, I got nothing. It was nada. Forget it. And I think I did mention to my mother too that no help to her, I am who I am today because I'm kind of what I call a self-made man, in the sense that I put myself through all of my degrees. I did everything. I didn't have any help from them for any of that, financially or otherwise. I've had to make a lot of decisions on my life without their guidance or help too, and I have survived. But I know people that have been in this situation before with their parents and they've walked away from it. They just said, screw it, and walked away. In fact, when you go to a nursing home, it's very apparent how many of the people that are in there have just been dumped in the nursing home, and now it's the nursing home's problem, and these people come out only on special occasions to see anybody. I didn't want to be one of those kind of people, although I can understand it, and quite frankly, if I stand outside of this situation, I probably should have walked away from it a long time ago, but I didn't. My brother is 3,000 miles away. He doesn't care. Or if he does care, he doesn't show it. And my sister's busy with her family and her job. So there you go. Everything falls on my shoulders. And then so when I call up my mother and ask her what's new this week, I get this whole thing. Every time I go and see her, every time I call her, it starts with negatives. Every time. I said that to her on the phone. She's never happy about anything. My mother's just a miserable old lady, quite frankly, is what it is. So what am I supposed to do about that? I don't know. So I'm looking forward to, 2 weeks' time. We go to Florida for a week, 8 days, and I'm going to enjoy every second of that. And when we go to Australia later in the next few months, I'm going to enjoy every moment of that as well. Something's got to change with my mother. And I'm not sure if anything can change because, can you teach an old dog new tricks? I don't think so. Anyways, that's really what's been pissing me off this week, has been my mother. And it makes me feel bad inside that I feel this way. But what can I do? I mean, it'll sort itself out, I'm sure. Anyways, sorry for dumping on you. So what else? We had Christmas dinner here. We've already talked about that on Stephen and Walter Live and everything. And that was great. And I've already mentioned it before. And yeah, that's about all that was taking place during the week. So what's coming up? Okay, as I've already mentioned, we're going to the club for New Year's Eve. Now, what's the club, you might ask? The club was established about 25 years ago. It's a gay club. We haven't darkened its doors in over a decade, probably in 12 years. It's the last time we were actually there. And there was a reason for that. It was being run very poorly. It became a center for drag shows. And I mean, drag shows are amusing for a little while, but this place was just too many drag shows. Too many drag shows. Plus, a lot of the younger people came in, the college crowd, and kind of took over. And so the older gay population in our community sort of drifted away from it because really we were seen as old farts, and the atmosphere just wasn't there anymore. Well, they have a new board of directors just recently had their annual meeting and voted these people in. And one of the people on it is a guy who really wants to try and make some serious changes to the club and its attitude and how it operates. And he's the same guy that I think I may have mentioned that was running those man dances that we were going to. So we decided, because he is very much a principal involved with the planning for this New Year's Eve party and whatnot, that we would go this year. Tickets were about 40 bucks a piece. We bought them online. And I have seen changes already in the way that they're doing their communication. Like their website has gotten a little better since the new board has come in, and they seem to be more efficient. Getting the tickets was not a problem, all done through PayPal, the whole bit. Very professional, which it has not been for many, many years. So we're going with new eyes, and we'll see how this evening turns out. It's something to do on New Year's Eve anyway. So they have a buffet, they have champagne at midnight, that kind of stuff, music, dancing, all that kind of stuff. So it could be a real lot of fun. What am I wearing, you may ask? No idea. Yes, I do. I'm wearing my standard uniform. I bought new black jeans, so I'm wearing my new black jeans and probably a purple dress shirt that I've got. I'm not wearing a jacket and tie. Well, I don't even have one that would fit me anymore. And some people will go dressed to the nines. You know, there'll be some guys there with old tuxedos on, others in maybe a suit jacket and that. But for the most part, I think people will come somewhat dressy casual for the night. And you know, at this point, I don't care. There was a day and age, New Year's Eve, I'd go out and try to buy new clothes for New Year's Eve and the whole bit. But I was younger and I was a little bit more foolish than I am now, I guess. Matter of opinion, I suppose. So no, I'm not worrying about that. And to be honest, I don't even think I have a pair of dress pants anymore that fit me. I primarily wear nothing but black jeans all the time. I have a closet full of black jeans. Yeah. But anyways, I'm looking forward to it. That's tonight, so yay. Next week, next Sunday, I have another art journaling class, my monthly one. So Stephen and Walter Live will be on 1 hour later next week. It'll be at 5 instead of 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I'll tell you all about the art journaling class from there. We're doing canvas shadow boxes in this class. So this will be a little bit different for them. So we'll see how that works out. Okay, well, that's about all that's coming up. Yeah, I'm just thinking here. I'm getting my days mixed up lately, but I think it's because of Christmas. Everybody does this, you know, like a week ago was Christmas Eve, now it's New Year's Eve, kind of a thing, and it falls in, you know, the beginning of a week, and so you keep thinking that every day is Saturday. At least we have been doing that. Or maybe that's just senility starting to roll in. So anyways, I hope you have a sane New Year's Eve. I hope it's safe for you. I hope it's a nice time, and I hope the best for everybody for 2019 for us all. 2018 was a mixed year for me on things. I'm looking forward to a new year, maybe where things will be a little more stress-free. Who knows? But is life ever stress-free? But anyways, I hope your year's stress-free. I hope you have a good time tonight, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.